that within me, and I hope that I can help that, and especially with my kids. Like, being a parent for me is like being an educator all the time, and you don't realize that they're paying attention to you every second, but you really are their number one teacher.
Thank you.
It means loving your students that you work with. I had students that were always hungry. I taught high school students, and my high school students begged to be able to eat lunch in my 2.5-hour block every single day. And they couldn't think because they were hungry. So I used to let them actually bring ramen noodles or snacks. I always had water. They asked me for water every single day. I could never bring the whole case in because it would be gone by the end of the day. But I thought feeding my kids, I'd seen other people do that, and it gave them the opportunity to just not concentrate so much on being hungry, but on learning whatever it was I was teaching.
So I'm Senator Bryce Reeves, and the question is, when have I been shown kindness with regard to education? In my life, kindness comes in a variety of ways, but one of the biggest things, especially with education, was probably instilled in me from my mother, who believed that education is not only for earning a living, but for learning to live, to serve, and to lead. And with that mantra, I've been shown kindness my whole life because I've always been a person who believed in that, in education. So I had some teachers that made an impact on me. Mrs. Fitzgerald, whose husband was the football coach, made sure that I learned mathematics, and I wasn't a strong math student. And she was always kind because I always took her class after we had workouts in the morning, and I wasn't always the brightest and smartest and awake person. And so it's those little things that make each day bright and happy and cheerful regardless of the outcome. And there's some amazing teachers out there who do the act, are showing the act of kindness each day, and it's about paying it forward, and it's an amazing process. And so that's my one experience. Mrs. Fitzgerald, thank you so much for making me who I am today.
I mean, it is.
Okay, great.
Very nice. Can we have that playing on a loop on a screen during convocation?
Sure.
Or during the breakfast?
We don't have
If people want to. Whatever.
Great. Thank you. The next item on the agenda, hearing of citizens. Do we have any citizens? Okay.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Just wanted to-
So I will need you to state your name and your address.
Okay.
And you will have 3 minutes. And Ms. Wright will let you know when time is coming to a close.
Understood. In advance of my comments, may I provide you some simple handouts to reference as I
Sure.
speak? Okay.
Thank you.
So don't be alarmed. We don't comment during this section
Okay.
of the agenda. We'll just call time and thank you in advance for coming forward to speak with us this evening.
Understood. I am David Koisi Makosa. I'm a resident of Fredericksburg since 2007. I live with my 3 families, my 3 children and my wife, Beth, in the city. They each attend Fredericksburg Public Schools. I've come to you today to hopefully to earn your endorsement and or expressed interest in further discussions regarding a playground enhancement project. Specifically, it's my belief Fredericksburg children need a public space to play soccer. Currently, in the city of Fredericksburg, there is no place outside of recreational Parks and Recs programming for kids to play soccer outside of those fixed periods. Private soccer participation is prohibitively expensive. Referencing the Virginia Department of Education numbers, about 38% or 34% of Fredericksburg public students come from households with income at or 130% of the federal poverty level. That makes private soccer, which can range from $1,400 to $3,000, prohibitively expensive. A family who plays private soccer can anticipate spending as much as $12,000 a year to travel and the assorted other expenses. Children who participate in athletics are one-tenth as likely to become obese, will experience, are 15% more likely to attend college. So in general, life outcomes are more likely if children are active. The project proposes to enhance existing structure, not to, I've highlighted a particular hardscape, not to utilize the entire area, but maybe 1/3. There's a similar install in the second page showing an installation in Washington, D.C., and the third page shows an installation that occurred in Springfield Elementary in the spring of 2018. U.S. Soccer Foundation has given this effort $15,000 in the form of a grant. If we leverage existing structures, that project could be completed with $75,000 additional dollars, which could be raised as part of a private capital campaign. Who am I and why do I care? I'm a commander in the U.S. Navy. I participated in U.S. national teams, which enabled me to travel throughout the United States and internationally. It also, as a full scholarship athlete, made my education at Wake Forest possible. Through 9 combat deployments, but with partner forces and local forces and local populations, soccer has been a bridge to engage and establish relationships. As an exchange student in Japan, I played professionally with a team there, as well as my travels throughout Uganda. There is so much here, and there's so much promise. I hope we can further this, continue this discussion, and hopefully provide additional resources to our children here in the city of Fredericksburg. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Okay, we're at the superintendent's report, consent agenda.
I recommend that the board approve the consent agenda as presented with the following items: the policy revisions, which are a second reading, school age child care program contract, extracurricular activities for 2018-19, and school time schedules for 2018-19.
So moved. Second.
Been moved by Ms. Holmes, second by Ms. Boyd, to approve the superintendent's report consent agenda. Is there any discussion? None. All in favor? Ayes.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it. The next item is action items personnel.
Recommend the board approve the personnel schedules, including the addendum information shown as of August 6, 2018.
Any motion to approve personnel?
So moved.
I'm sorry. Okay, moved by Ms. Pomeroy and second by Mr. Bailey. May we have a roll call vote, please?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yes.
Motion carries. Are there any other motions following our closed session discussions?
Madam Chair, I move that the school board accept the recommendation of the superintendent that the license of a teacher be suspended for 1 year, and that the superintendent forward that recommendation and the investigative file to the state superintendent of public instruction within 14 days.
It's been moved by Mr. Bailey and second by Ms. Boyd to accept the recommendation of the superintendent that a license of a teacher be suspended for 1 year, and that the superintendent forward the recommendation and the investigative file to the state superintendent of public instruction within 14 days. Does this require a roll call vote, Ms. Wright? A roll call vote, please.
Yes.
Mrs. Boyd?
Yes.
Mr. Bailey?
Yes.
Ms. Kay?
Yes.
Ms. Pomeroy?
Yes.
Recommend that the student referred to in case 17-18-1 be readmitted to Fredericksburg City Public Schools effective September 4th, 2018.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Pomeroy and second by Mr. Bailey. Does this require a roll call vote? Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes. Yes.
thank you. Appointment of School Board Disciplinary Committee.
In accordance with school board policy, the board needs to appoint a 3-member school board disciplinary committee.
Okay, so last year, the committee was made up of Reverend Bailey, Mrs. Ream, and Mrs. Miller-Richards, with Mrs. Boyd as an alternate. I'm asking if the 3 individuals, Mr. Bailey, Mrs. Ream, and Mrs. Boyd, would be willing to serve for the 2018-19 disciplinary committee. Ms. Ream's not here, so it's kind of unfair. But
She is aware.
she is, okay, great. You okay, Mr. Bailey? And don't we need an alternate?
I can be the alternate.
Okay, great. I was going to suggest that. Thank you, Ms. Pomeroy. Do we need to vote on that? Yes, that's what I thought. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Pomeroy,
Second.
second by Ms. Holmes, for Mr. Bailey, Ms. Ream, and Ms. Boyd to serve on the Student Disciplinary Committee with Ms. Pomeroy as an alternate. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, great. VSBA Media Honor Roll.
Recommend that the school board approve the attached resolution recognizing Dave Adler of WGRQ Radio Morning Show for inclusion in the Virginia School Boards Association Media Honor Roll for 2018.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Ms. Boyd, second by Ms. Pomeroy. Any discussion?
I don't listen to that morning show. I'm assuming we get some good press on that.
That's Thank you, Mr. Bailey, for your comment.
Before I vote, is that the one that Mr. Baker keeps winning all the prizes on? That's one of them?
Maybe I should start listening.
I know. Any other comments? Okay, I call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, well, now we move on to additional action items. Monthly financial report. Mr. Baker.
This month, I've got the June 30th report available for you, looking at the details from when the main thing to stress is that all of the payroll for summer payroll accruals been posted in this report,
Right.
as well as the last of our accounts payable runs.
Mhm.
for recruitment. So this is a fairly final version, except for possibly audit adjustments, if any. And you can see that we have a positive variance on both sides, 1.37% for the revenues and 0.03% for expenditures. So if you do the calculation, if this comes out accurately, we ended with about $630,000, which will roll back into the fund balance, and it'll go back in with any unspent funds that were not appropriated earlier in the year. Everything went fairly according to plan. I will warn you that this time next year, we may have one or more versions of the year-end report to look at. We're going through a change in the accounting package. The city's bought a new package that we're converting to, and I don't have any wood to knock on, but with any luck and the effort we're putting out now, We'll be implementing the accounts payable piece of that this fall. And then next summer, we'll implement the payroll piece, the payroll module. So we'll start working on the payroll in the fall, and we'll go live with it. Expected date is July 1 of next year. So everything will look different, and we're going to have internal classes, I'll call it, on how to read and understand the information. And I'm planning to have the same thing with the school board as soon as I understand all of it and can see it. But basically what it's doing, it's taking everything you've seen before that's a long account string, and it's going to put it into basically 2 segments. So to end the conversation about it, become familiar with the term org object, because we'll be talking about that rather than the account string. It'll be 2 pieces, org object. So it's the same information, it just looks a little different, and we'll all have to go through a learning process to understand how to read it. But the new system, while it's a big endeavor to take on, there's a lot of nice things about the system. There's some things that we're going to have to change and adapt to, but we're both excited and nervous about the implementation progress, as I'm sure you understand. So are there any questions about tonight's report, specifics I can try to answer or steer you in the right direction? No? All right. Thank you very much.
The next item is preschool week calendar, 2018, 2019.
Just a couple things about the preschool week calendar. There was one change from previous years. To maximize teachers' time in the classroom, the new teacher breakfast has been removed from the preschool week activities, so you've probably noticed that there was not a reminder for an invite for that. But the board is reminded, though, that there are 2 standing invites for you. The new teacher cookout is Thursday, August 23rd from 5:30 to 7:30. We're still working on a location for that, so when we know of one, I'll make sure that you are aware of what that location is as well. And then finally, you're also welcome, please, to attend the Welcome Back Breakfast and Benefits Fair that starts at 8 a.m. on Tuesday, August 28th, with convocation to follow at 9:35.
Okay. Any questions? Okay, thank you. Okay, so now we're under additional information items, old business, VSBA Legislative Advocacy Conference, September 20th, 2018 in Charlottesville. Who's going? Ms. Holmes? Okay.
A member of staff will probably attend as well. It might be me.
Okay, great. The next item is VSBA Annual Convention, November 14th through the 16th. So I guess we're all going to be there. Okay. Is there any new business? We don't have any under the agenda. Okay, I will entertain good of the order. Anyone?
Before we get there, on the convention, 2 years ago, we did something with Spotsy, didn't we? Was that a couple years?
I think it's been more than 2 years.
Yeah.
It's been
Okay.
3. We had a joint dinner with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it time for us to do something with our neighbors again?
You can ask.
That was led by a vendor though, wasn't it?
No, we paid our
We
own.
just had a, oh, really?
Each board paid their own one.
Oh,
I'm just wondering, I mean, I don't necessarily,
We went to the Italian restaurant near Kingsmill.
okay. I don't mind. Which night?
Probably be the second night,
Okay.
or Thursday night, most likely. If we can arrange it.
how do you guys think about it? I mean,
I'll talk to Dr. Baker and he can see what his board wants to do.
Okay.
But typically, or lately, a lot of vendors have been inviting people out both nights. So
Yeah,
saves us a lot of.
yeah.
either one. Okay.
I like the saving money part.
I'll check. I'll check with him and see.
Okay, great, thank you. Any comments under good of the order? Okay.
And happy start of school. Hope it's a smooth transition.
Thank you. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay, so it was moved by you, Ms. Boyd, and second by Ms. Palmer Boyd. Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Meeting's adjourned.
Take it.